oh, I'm a red wine drinker, but they're only buying $20 bottles at the store. Like, you're not a red wine drinker. Like, you need to be spending at least $40 a bottle on a bottle of red to say that you're like a real red wine drinker.
Welcome back to the Scorpion S podcast. Today with me is a good friend of mine, Joe Clifford, sommelier and founder of Jetsetter Wine Company. Joe, welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been into wine lately, and Chicago's just got such a vast restaurant culture and wine programs all across the city. So looking forward to your perspective on this culture. I want to jump in on a very important topic. Is wine good for your health?
Yeah, and this is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about because everyone has that same question.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the 90s. I think it was a 60-minute segment where they were measuring the health of Americans versus the French.
Okay.
French having a very bread and fat and cheese-heavy diet.
Yeah.
And in over almost every metric, they were healthier than Americans. And they attributed, at the time, a lot of that to wine.
Interesting.
So different health benefits with wine is antioxidants. There's a compound called resveratrol in red wine that they're doing more studies about now, but red wine has one of the strongest concentrations of this compound. So just different vitamins, minerals that all come in wine. So it is healthy for you. I think where you deviate from the health benefits is when you start drinking too much.
Sure.
Two ways. One is drinking too much.
Yep.
Alcohol, however you consume alcohol, you drink too much, it is going to have negative health effects.
Sure.
It's fun. It has negative health effects. But a lot of it is, especially in America, is we have so many additives in our wine.
Interesting.
I think now it's 74 additives that we can put in our wine domestically that are illegal in Europe.
So can or should, or let's dive into that, because just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean it's good for the consumer or the product, right?
Yeah. And of those 74, it all depends what it is.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at a bottle of wine, almost every bottle of wine says contains sulfites.
Okay.
There's more sulfites in French fries than there are in your bottle of wine.
Okay.
Almost any fried food is going to have more sulfites. It's sulfates at least from my research, is what's not good for you.
Okay.
The difference of the ites and the eights, not super familiar. I think it's a molecule, some bond, and the number, which makes an ite versus an eight. But they come from, sulfites occur naturally, but they come from adding sulfur dioxide.
Okay.
So sulfur dioxide is added in a lot of wine to preserve the grapes as they're going through the process. So they're not attracting bacteria, other negative effects that any fruit would go through.
Sure.
But then you have a lot of different standards that either limit or allow different levels or sulfur dioxide at all. So, and I'm not too well versed on the difference of what the US calls organic and what Europe does.
Sure.
My rule of thumb is kind of if it's legal in Europe and it's in the higher qualities of wine, which we could get to later today or off camera, because there's a lot to unpack there. It basically is organic in U.S. terms, but I think it's the U.S. doesn't allow sulfur dioxide or certain amounts, so that's where it gets different. But my rule of thumb for anyone who's looking to drink healthier with wine is just go to Europe, or wine from Europe. So Spain, Italy, France.
Step one, go to Europe.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, do that.
Yeah.
I would suggest that any opportunity you get. I was just in Italy 2 weeks ago, and I'm still reminiscing on the trip.
Yes, we're going to get into the travel later in the episode for sure.
Perfect. But yeah, just go Spain, Italy, France, pretty much anywhere in Europe, and spend at least $30 a bottle.
Okay.
That's going to cover your bases as far as a health aspect. It's just going to be fruit, no additives. And if you're going to stick with the U.S., go for those expensive bottles. For whites, $50 a bottle. Reds, I'd say over 100, just to get higher quality. But you also have to be careful of the brand names, because a lot of times that $100 bottle you're paying for a brand name when it would be a $50 bottle without the name recognition.
So generally, if you're paying more for wine in the U.S., you're getting a higher quality product. And does that mean less additives, or it just means
Not necessarily.
okay?
I would assume so. Like, if I had to pick, I would assume the more expensive the bottle, the less additives, but there's no way to tell. Winemakers, wine producers don't have to put anything on the labels saying that except for the contained sulfites, which every bottle has.
It
You
seems
don't
like
have
kind
to add
of
anything.
a sign of a cop out. It's just like, yeah, it contains some stuff. It's like, okay, but what?
Yeah, you have different dyes. A lot of wine companies use dye. A lot of the cheaper wines are full of additives
Why are they dyeing their wine?
for more of an aesthetic color.
Okay, so they want like a deeper red or
Yeah, usually purple.
interesting.
So like Pinot Noir, for example, I'm not going to tarnish any brand names here, but a lot of like Pinot Noir, you're supposed to see through. If you hold up a glass of Pinot Noir, you should be able to see your fingers through there.
Yeah.
In California, that's not always the case. And most of the time, it's either they're adding a grape called Petite Syrah, which, I mean, Pinot Noir, you're not really supposed to blend with grapes, but Petite Syrah, it doesn't totally overpower the flavor, but it's a very dark grape.
Is it because the consumers are attributing maybe like a translucency to like watered down flavor and they stay away from it?
Spot on. That's definitely part of it.
Okay.
But then it's different grapes. So like the intensity of color in wine is almost always from the thickness of the skins of the grapes. So Pinot Noir is a thin-skinned grape.
Yeah.
Gamay, thin-skinned grape. So they're going to result in a lighter wine.
Yeah.
Where like Cab, Syrah, Zinfandel, thicker skins, darker wines.
Gotcha.
But it's all like for adding dyes, it's all an aesthetic.
So since we're on the topic of additives and these extras, do you have an opinion on like wine hangovers?
Yeah. So I'm trying to start a segment on my Instagram of just wine myths that I overhear, not even as a sommelier, but just in everyday life.
Yeah.
And when people say, oh, I can't drink this particular wine because I get hungover, or wine in general, a lot of times it is the additives that's doing it. If you're having 1 glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine,
Yeah.
and you can pound 6 beers and have a minor hangover, it's the additives. Unless you actually have an allergy to grapes,
Yeah. I feel
that
like
could be one thing. But a lot of the people that are like, oh, I get headaches from wine or bad hangovers.
Yeah.
It's probably the additives.
That's good to know. I know a lot of people probably just don't even know what they're allergic to because they kind of power through life and don't take the time to go find out like, oh yeah, you're allergic to all of these things that are added in wine. And it's like, actually that's the cause, not the wine itself per se. But yeah, doing a little research probably can go a long way.
Yeah. Or just go to my rule of thumb, $30 a bottle, go pick a bottle from Europe and see how you feel.
Yeah, I think you're going to feel a lot better after a European bottle of wine, just my opinion. I've had a couple European bottles of wine and I felt great afterwards. So can't recommend, number one, traveling, and number two, the European lifestyle enough. Actually, one of my life goals is to buy a lake house in Italy in a couple years.
Awesome.
So
Dude, they're cheaper than a 1-bedroom condo in Chicago right now.
it's making a whole hell of a lot more sense now with the economy and how real estate is going in the U.S. It's like, not only can you afford a decent house, but look at the venue, like the landscape, the lifestyle, stress-free. I could go on and on about why this dream is going to be more so a reality sooner than later, but I hope to have you over to the lake house in Amalfi Coast here soon.
For sure. Very excited for that.
So before we get too deep into the pod, for the audience members that haven't met you yet or don't know you like I do, can you give us a brief background on kind of like what you were doing and how you got to getting into wine?
Yeah. So I was in the hospitality industry after college. Worked for Hyatt hotels, not in the food and beverage scene. I was selling conferences,
Okay.
selling meetings, doing the room blocks, nothing with food and beverage.
Yeah.
And I moved out to San Diego in early 2020 with Hyatt. So I had like 2 normal weeks, COVID hits. And then especially in California, everything shut down. We
Yeah.
closed the hotel, we couldn't operate. And I was furloughed. And I'm like, I don't want to leave the industry, but I kind of need a backup plan if something like this ever happens again.
Right.
And I've always liked wine, but I could never wrap my head around it on my own. Like I couldn't just
Yeah.
go to, like at the time I think I was buying like Trader Joe's wine. And I'm like, all right, I can't wrap my head around the difference between a Cab and a Pinot Noir. Or like different regions within different countries, just could not teach myself. So while I was furloughed, I had all this free time, and San Diego State had a continuing education program. It was like a wine business certificate.
Oh, that's cool.
So I took the intro class to that. I think it was 8 weeks, textbook like this thick, of all different wine regions, grapes, the history of wine, different laws. And I really caught a bug. I loved this class, was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
And from there, I learned there's 2 main certification bodies. You have WSET, which is more academic, more business focused, and then the Court Master of Sommeliers, which is like if you've watched those Somm documentaries on Netflix, that's the path that everyone on that documentary is going through.
Okay.
So that is more service focused.
Gotcha.
More like floor Somms. So I'm like, all right, I did this intro class. I didn't continue with the certificate, but I'm like, I'll do the intro course of both certifications and see which one I want to pursue.
Yeah.
So I did the intro of Court Masters, and then WSET 1 is their intro. Decided to do WSET because I'm like, I'm going to go into business. So at the time, I started working for a wine distributor on the side. So I'm back at Hyatt, selling conferences, and working with this distributor in San Diego. And coming out of COVID, so California being the last state to open, any bar and restaurant that survived, and well, I mean, wine shops actually did pretty well during COVID, but like restaurants and bars like just got demolished.
Yeah.
Couldn't operate, lost all this money, dipped in their savings just to survive. So when I'm there trying to sell them wine, they're like, Joe, we don't care if it's good. We just need the margins.
Sure.
And I'm like, I don't have the margins. I could give you good margins, but not recovery margins. From almost 2 years of just bleeding money.
That's tough.
So I'm just going into places and like met a lot of great people, but they're like, we'll buy like a few cases, but like, we can't do the good stuff. Like we're not at that place yet.
They need to move like quantity. They need to get people in and out of the door and get that cash flow to get the business back.
Like looking at pricing by the glass. So before COVID and even like right after COVID, like things started opening up, what you paid for a glass of wine was probably what the bar or restaurant paid their price for the bottle.
For the bottle.
So back when you could get a glass of wine for $11, they probably paid $11 for that bottle. So then they're making 5x, maybe 4, depending on how big their pours are.
Yeah.
But now, like the bottle price hasn't really changed that much in the last 5 years. Even throw tariffs in, still not significant.
Yeah.
But you can't find a glass of wine anywhere in Chicago for under $17.
Right.
Unless it's like happy hour pricing. But even those $17 glasses are probably $10 bottles that they paid. So now that margin's even higher for less quality wine.
Interesting. So the business of wine has certainly evolved post-COVID.
Yeah. And I think it's just the margins is the name of the game.
Yeah.
For bars and restaurants. I think at wine shops, you can still get a pretty good value. For what I do, selling direct to consumer, you still get a good value. But going out now, at most places, there are some outliers, especially in Chicago, some restaurants with a great by the glass list that is capped at like $20.
So let's talk pricing now that we're kind of on this topic. So for the consumers that out there that really don't understand like how the wine game works, you've got buying a glass at a restaurant, you've got buying a bottle at like a Binny's, and then you also have like buying a bottle at like a steakhouse for dinner. Like what's best for the business and what's the most value for like the consumer?
Yeah, so consumer, it's always going to be buying from a shop or buying from someone like me direct. Because there's just less steps in the process. So like when you're going to a restaurant, the winemaker makes the wine. Or starts with growing the grapes.
Sure.
Wineries don't necessarily grow their own grapes. So you have the person growing the grapes, you have the person making the wine, bottling the wine, sending it out. That then goes through a distributor. Let's say we'll use Illinois as an example because we're here. Goes to a distributor in Illinois, and this is for domestic.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother layer for imports. So it gets to a distributor, then it gets to either the store or the restaurant. I'm holding in a sneeze. So by the time it gets to the restaurant, there's 4 or 5 people who are taking a cut of that dollar amount.
Right.
So if you're buying, holding in a sneeze, if you're buying like $100 bottle at a restaurant, you're tipping, say, 20% on that bottle.
Yeah.
So your server makes $20 on that bottle. The winemaker who put all the work into making that product is not making anywhere near $20 on that bottle.
Right.
So just a lot, and it just boils down to just so many hands taking a piece of that $100 bottle that when you get to a restaurant, it's more expensive because there's just one added layer.
Sure.
And they're keeping inventory. They might have bottles sitting for a few years, not with the intent of aging that bottle, but just because it's not moving fast.
Right.
Whereas at a store, you don't have, the markup's not as high. So you're still buying it, the store is still buying it from a distributor, but they're marking it up maybe 2 or 3 times, not 5, like the restaurant.
So the farther you get from the source, and this is kind of business
With
economics 101, the more pricey it's going to be. So figure if you're going to Benny's, you're buying bottle, which is cost plus their profit, let's just call it 20% or whatever their margins are. And then if you go to a restaurant, you're paying 3 to 4x average if you're buying a glass or a bottle. Steakhouse, I mean, you're spending a lot of money for that bottle, but you're also paying for the ambiance, the service, the curation of a list that you can't find probably everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if they have a sommelier, you're paying for that as well.
yeah. So it's not that the money that you're spending on the bottle in the restaurant per se is just going straight to their bottom line. There are kind of these like other factors that maybe indirectly you're paying for. But I think in each instance, you're getting what you pay for, right? You go to the Benny's, you want to pull a bottle off the shelf, go home, sit in your sweatpants and drink some wine. Cool, you got it. You want to go to a fancy restaurant, you want to be wined and dined, or you're taking out a client, spending a little bit of money, you're getting that different experience for that cost. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Like I always use, like people, when they ask me this, I use the airport as an example. Because I only drink beer at the airport. And they're like, you're a sommelier, why don't you drink wine at the airport? So I'm like, all right, so if I get the 9-ounce pour, that's going to be like $27.
Yeah.
I know they paid like $4 for that whole bottle. That math does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
To spend $27, and I'm going to have 2 glasses, so there's $55 before tip for 2 glasses of wine that's garbage.
Yeah.
I would rather just have 2 beers.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, once you know, it's kind of hard to go back, right?
Yeah, and it's like, if going back to the health thing, it's like, all right, if I'm drinking, trying to not use wine names, but if I'm drinking a cheap bottle of wine at the airport, I might feel like crap on the flight because of the garbage in the wine.
Yeah.
Where beer, there's still additives in beer, but like
You kind of know what you're getting with the beer.
At least if you're going to have like a stomachache on the flight,
Yeah.
you're not spending $55 for that stomachache.
For sure.
You're spending $30.
If
And
you're,
just to have the alcohol get rid of your flight anxiety,
Yeah.
or help you sleep or whatever, I would rather take that bet with beer on a flight.
So
wine.
pro sommelier tip: drink beer at the airport.
Yep.
Take that one home with you.
Yep.
So, what is a sommelier? From what I've researched, there are different levels, and maybe you could talk us through like what the difference is between those.
Yeah. So I think if you ask any sommelier this question, they're going to give you a different answer.
Interesting.
The levels are all the same; those are standard.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have their own strict definitions of what a sommelier is.
Okay.
So I think if you Google it, it's a wine steward. Super vague.
Yeah.
But then you have all the certifications where like you have the Court of Master Sommeliers, sommelier being in the title.
Is this like European? Because it sounds very like Middle Ages kind of.
I don't even know where it's based out of. I'm going through the WSET track, which is based in London.
Yeah.
I think Court Masters is US though. I haven't taken their intro class in like 4 years. So I haven't taken any class in there since. But so a lot of people will only consider you a sommelier if you went through that track, through the Court of Master Sommeliers. But then you have, like, at least what I think, and then so you have 4 levels in the Court Master Sommelier. You have intro, certified, advanced, and then master. Master is what they did all those documentaries on. WSET on the other end, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, easier to remember. And then after 4, you qualify for a Master of Wine program. You don't need to go 1 to 4 to qualify for the master program, but it's very difficult, and that's the easiest route. You could be a winemaker for 15 years, and they'll let you take the exam.
Okay.
So if you're in the industry for long enough, you could kind of bypass some of that. And that's what I would say with anybody. Like I look at my importer, Quigley Fine Wines out of San Diego, California, and my retailer for my wine club. They, like their CEO, Brendan's been in the industry for over 20 years, doesn't have any certifications, and he knows way more about wine than a lot of people. Like I'm a level 3 of working on 4 right now. He knows way more than I do, than a lot of people at the same level that are a level 3, even a level 4, just from being in the industry that long.
I mean, what are they?
But then some people would be like, oh, he's not a sommelier. But he will crush you in any wine trivia.
Sure. I think that's human nature with really anything that's got like a standard or some sort of like metric where you can determine if someone is this or not. Like human beings are just going to be the way they are. So it's like, let's think about this objectively. All right, this guy knows a lot more about wine than you do, so maybe let's calm down.
Yeah. Why does it matter? Who knows more?
I have the same conversation with a lot of my audience. So this is a Chicago-based podcast, and Chicagoans get real finicky about people that claim they're from Chicago. Yeah. And I do it in jest with people too, but I'm not super hardcore. Like the whole meme culture of people from Naperville claiming they're from Chicago. Like, I think that's funny, but then I'll get comments on some of my guests like, oh, this guy's not from Chicago. He's from like DuPage County. And I'm like, all right, well, like, how do you define a Chicagoan? Is it you've lived within the 606 for a certain amount of years, or you work within the city limits, or you provide like good will to the community of Chicago, or what? Like, we got to define the parameters of what makes a Chicagoan first, and then we can have the debate.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that I have when you say that, I have 2 things. One, I personally just go where people went to high school.
Yeah.
And that's like, for whatever reason, that's where I just assign where people are from. It's wherever they went to high school, whether it's the suburbs, downtown, whatever. But then it gets there's an outlier to that. It's like if you go to a Catholic school in Chicago, but you're from the burbs.
Right.
You're still from the burbs.
Yeah.
But we're the only major city that does that.
Yeah. Isn't
Anyone
it crazy?
else, like, they're going from LA. You're from a suburb almost an hour outside of LA, but people still consider that LA.
Yeah.
I think Chicago is just the particular residents that get territorial about it.
We have a lot of pride in our city, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's a fun competition.
We're a particular bunch. I'll say.
I lived in San Diego for 4 years, and I would like whenever I'm in Chicago, I always say I'm from Downers Grove.
Yeah,
like I never say I'm from Chicago. But if I'm traveling for work, when I live in Chicago now, I've been on and off for the last 10, 12 years. But like I always say Chicago when I'm traveling for work.
Yeah,
because like I don't need to bore somebody with like they don't know what Downers Grove, Illinois is.
No,
and like if I say the Chicago suburbs or suburbs of Chicago. It's too long. Just say Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, let's be realistic, people. Like, just if someone's not from the city, you say Chicago, you're not claiming to be whatever. Like, you're just giving someone a regional area so they can be okay, you're from like the Midwest.
And that's all people are asking, like where you're from. That's all you need is they're just trying to see like what part of the country you're from, and if you have any commonalities with them.
Yeah, exactly.
If you lived in the same spot at one time or grew up in the same spot. Yeah,
I don't think this debate will ever go to rest, and I'm kind of for it. So
that was good. I don't think it needs to go to rest.
Yeah, well, y'all can fight in the comments, and I'll pop in every now and then. So now that we're on the Chicago specific, which restaurants in the city have like really great wine programs, in your opinion? So
in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, and I think they've got a few awards coming, is John's Food and Wine in Lincoln Park.
Okay.
They've been open for maybe 2 years, I want to say, but their By the Glass list is phenomenal. Always changing. They were actually the ones I was using as an example of like keeping under $20, but solid wine. Like they're definitely there for the guest experience and not just to make margins and cover costs. Like they're there for the experience. Yeah. And I think it's working.
It's funny you bring these up because my good buddy lives in Lincoln Park. I literally just finished making his wedding band for his wedding coming up in November, and he raves about this place. So not only am I getting good feedback from someone in the industry, but the consumers are also saying the same thing. Yep. So outside of them, do you have any other like restaurants or other places in the city that you really think kind of nailed it? Yeah, I think Alpina, founded by Alpina Singh, master sommelier
I think she was the youngest master sommelier, if not the youngest,
Yeah.
to get the certification, like one of the youngest. And she's had a few restaurants in the past. I'm blanking on their names, but Alpena, I believe it's on State Street in River North, is a current phenomenal wine list. And I think a lot of it is like not even, so it's the sommeliers or beverage directors or wine directors who are building those lists. But like when I go to like a restaurant like that, I want to talk to the server and have them teach me about wine. You go to a lot of restaurants that have an expensive wine list, their staff doesn't know anything about the wine.
That's unfortunate.
Like I'm fine overpaying for a glass of wine if they're going to tell me about the region, the producer, whatever, how many cases of this wine are made.
Yeah.
I'll actually, I'm trying not to rip on anybody. There's a suburban wine restaurant chain that you go there and they're wine focused and their staff doesn't know anything. They're looking at their cheat sheet, still doesn't know anything about wine. And
the business is based off of wine. If I'm tracking the business that you're discussing.
Yeah, we're not saying names, but it infuriates me. It's like I'm going there not just to drink wine, but to learn.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many knowledge gaps with people who like wine and want to learn more that you don't need to go take a class to learn about wine. If you're spending $17 on a glass of wine, your server or the bartender should be able to at least tell you like the basics of a Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I think a lot of restaurants don't have that. And, I don't know if it's just a lack of, I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know if it's a lack of resources.
Sure.
But distributors come in and go to their accounts and teach them about the winemaker, different wines. And the distributors pay for that. It's coming out of their pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more so their time. But yeah, there's just so many gaps in wine knowledge in the industry that
it's wild because, you know, there's a book I reference every once in a while on the pod, Unreasonable Hospitality. And I feel like that concept could be applied to a lot of these businesses to take you up to that next level. It's not hard because, like you said, really an industry that has like a distributor, the distributors want to educate the retailers on their product so that it helps sell more, right?
Yep.
And they're willing to front the cost a lot of the time. They've got knowledgeable people coming in. All you got to do is show up, sit down, listen, take some notes, learn something. But I guess you can't really force like the servers to have a passion for wanting to know about wine. Like maybe they're just there to collect a paycheck because it's post-COVID and tariffs increase the price of everything. Like maybe they're not really into wine. But as a consumer, I wish that the people at the wine place knew about wine because I want to learn like you.
Yeah. And I think like you're getting the higher end restaurants that have that.
Yeah.
It's kind of that middle tier that are charging higher end prices for wine.
Right.
That you're not getting anything else out of the experience.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because like look at like I'm amazed by servers at restaurants when they tell you about their specials.
Yeah.
And like, oh, it's cooked this way and it's aged this long and every little detail of the food. And that's what I'm looking for when I order a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Is like get down into like the vintage. Not super specific. I don't need to know about like soil types.
Yeah.
And that stuff. I know that and I can speak to it about some of my wines, but I don't expect the bartender or server to know that. But like, just tell me about the region. Tell me about the producer. Why did you guys pick this Côte de Rhône instead of a different producer?
Yeah.
Just little stuff like that.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up like the restaurant servers and how they like just memorize all these specials. I look at these folks, I'm like, oh, that's just exhausting. Because when I was in flight school for the Army, I memorized so many like emergency procedures and checklists and all these things. And like for like a year and a half, it was just studying, memorizing, regurgitating. And now that I'm out of the service, I'm like, okay, I don't need to memorize things anymore. This is a relief. So then I see someone else just like spouting out all these specials or like memorizing your order without writing it down. I'm like, God bless you, because I'm so over that like memorization portion, but it is impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, I can tell when they're going through however they made the swordfish or whatever the special is, I could picture it being cooked in my mind half the time because they're that good at describing
They're
it.
painting a picture with words, and then you're like, I mean, this actually works. Like, I kind of want to get that instead of the standard steak I was going to buy.
Yeah, I'd rather have that experience than just reading word for word what's on the menu.
Yeah.
But I think if we can translate that into wine and cocktails, that would be a phenomenal experience for guests, but also make the venue a ton of money.
Yeah. So to be succinct, if you could list like what makes a good wine program and like 3 things, what are your top 3?
Yeah. And I've helped some restaurants build their wine program. So
Cool.
like a lot of restaurants that don't want to hire a beverage director, but want to up their wine game.
Yeah.
That's where I'll come in and just consult and,
Yeah.
and build their wine list. Was it 3 criteria?
Yeah. What makes a good
great
wine list? Yeah.
I think variety. I think you need a few different countries because there's wine preference is such a wide range.
Yeah.
You have people who will only drink sweet wines and Moscato and sweet Rieslings. You have some people who only drink Napa Cab, and they won't touch anything else. I think where the experience is in the middle of that. Like, if I have a Napa Cab drinker, like my goal for that Napa Cab drinker is to get them to like something else. They could still drink Napa Cab.
Yeah.
Napa Cab's phenomenal, and it's as expensive as it is and as widely accessible as it is because it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But what about an Australian Shiraz? What about a Rioja from Spain? Like something that's similar that they might even like better.
Yeah.
So I think you need variety in that wine list for whoever, the server, the bartender, whoever else is on the other end of that menu
Yeah.
to give people options that they're going to like and try something new.
Yeah.
So range, I would say, is 1. Price, like by the glass, it's got to be an affordable price
Yeah.
and not the same. Like, God, I'm really trying not to use names here. I'll use like Josh because Josh is in a bunch of memes.
Yeah.
It's a cheap wine.
Yeah.
It's not that good. A lot of people love it. I'm not a huge fan. But when you're going to a restaurant and they have Josh at $17 a glass, I immediately lose confidence in the rest of that wine list.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's a store wine. That's a grocery store wine. It doesn't belong on your wine list.
So proper pricing for what you're getting.
Yeah. And most consumers don't know the difference.
Yeah.
And a third thing, I'd be accessibility. Like using Josh as an example, you could buy that at a 7-Eleven. Like that's not unique to your wine list.
Right.
Where if you go to places with a phenomenal wine list, I love when I look at a buy the glass list and I don't know any of the producers there. Because I'm assuming they took the time to meet with their distributors, taste the wine, and do the work.
Like here's a regional winemaker that only made wine for like these couple years and there's like 12 cases left and like you have to have this because you
You're never
can't
gonna
get this
get it again.
anywhere else and never again as well.
Yep.
That's the thing that's fascinating with wine to me is that like once it's gone, it's gone. The
Yep.
version
For good wine.
the
yeah.
version of that wine comes and goes, and if you don't know about wine or you're not like an investor or you don't have the funds to really like stock up and purchase a couple cases of the wine that you like, you might have something at a restaurant and love it, and then you go to the store and you look for it and it's like nowhere to be found.
Yep.
I think that's it makes it kind of fun because then you're like invested. You're like, okay, next time I find something I do like, I'm gonna buy like 4 bottles just so I have one at the house in case a special occasion comes or something. And then you kind of like you start researching and understanding why that there's that scarcity, and it's just this rabbit hole.
Yeah. And that's like, so selling with Quigley. So I sell their wine. I use them for my wine club. They have exclusive rights in the US with all these tiny producers that importers and distributors don't even want to touch. They're so small.
Yeah.
So like that's a value add that we have, but I need to tell my clients, like our Napa Cabs, for example, will maybe get 100 cases and 100 cases made.
Yeah.
So I text all of my Napa Cab drinkers. I'm like, hey, you need to buy it today because this is not going to last
Right.
another day or two. Like we have enough people in the portfolio that drink Napa Cab, like this will be gone. And then I get so many times where they'll text back like, hey, is there any chance there's any more? I'm like, no, I told you. You bought 3 bottles, you should have bought 12.
I literally warned you.
Yeah. And it's like, and I'm not doing that as a sales tactic.
Right.
It 100% does help with sales, but that wine's gone.
Yeah.
Even we might get the next year's vintage, say that was the 2016, we released a 2017, it might not be as good. Might be better, but you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. But then you got to wait a little bit to have it become better sometimes too.
Yeah, like I was in the Barbaresco region of Italy a few weeks ago, and it was the day of harvest. So everyone I was supposed to meet was harvesting, and that's their busiest day of the year.
Yeah.
So
that's something to like actively go to Italy for is harvest season, correct?
Yeah, but it depends. Like a lot of times they don't decide what day they're harvesting till the day before.
Sure.
So it's hard to plan that. And I knew I was going around harvest time.
Yeah.
But I had to cancel a lot of my meetings because they were like all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Picking grapes. But I found this one new producer that we were drinking their Barbaresco, their 2016. One of our Barbaresco producers, their 2016, we just sold out. It's phenomenal. And that's one that people are just, Joe, like, I need more of that. I'm like, 2016 was a phenomenal year. I don't know. Like, we have like the 2020 right now. I'm like, it's still a little too young to drink. Like, I don't know if it's going to be as good. It's drinking fine now. I don't know if it's going to be as good as the 2016 in 4 years. But I met this winemaker, and I tasted the 15 and the 16 side by side. In like rule of thumb, the older it is, should be better. But this was like a prime example of vintage variation.
Yeah.
Vintage being the year that the grapes were picked. The 2016 was 10 times better than the 15.
Yeah, I remember having a couple really good 2016 bottles, and there is a difference between year. And when I've been to Napa and some other wine regions, and as the people educate you, it's like, look, like we had a lot of forest fires in California in this time frame, and the harvest was a lot less, or the amount of rainfall that came, or too much sunlight. I mean, there are a lot of factors that humans cannot control, which ends up controlling the supply and I would say like the taste output of the product, which makes
100%.
the wine industry very unique in that aspect.
Yeah, because you look at yields. Like, say 1 year you make 50,000 bottles of a wine, but because of harvest, the next year you only make 20,000. Usually, and not all the time, but that 20,000 is probably better. And that a lot of that is because the grapes and the vines aren't fighting. They're not competing for the same nutrients with as many plants.
Good. Yeah. Good.
If that makes sense. So like wine, like it's kind of like lifting weights. Like you're lifting weights to tear your muscles down for them to build back up. And with wine, there's like grapes that struggle to grow taste better, have more flavor, have more antioxidants, have more positive compounds because they had to struggle and were fighting other grapes for the same nutrient base.
Interesting analogy.
Because like we look like apples. Every apple tastes the same. You have whatever. Like I think Golden Delicious now is, or I was reading today, whatever the most grown apple is, they all taste the same. Orange juice always tastes the same.
Yeah.
But wine, you could have Chardonnay from California, and Chardonnay grows everywhere that wine grows, or that grapes grow, say like Chile and California. Same grape, you could even use the same genetic clone of the grape, and they're going to taste totally different.
Yeah. I hear people say, oh, I don't like shards, so I never drink it, or insert XYZ, and I'll never do that again. And really, you can apply this to a lot of other industries or like life events, but it's like, well, actually, if you pull out the stoic in you, it's like, you only tried a Chardonnay from Napa from 2016. Have you tried one from a different producer or a different year or a different region? Or have you tried one from a different country and then tried all of those variations and like really honed into, oh, I think I just didn't like that one bottle that one time. I actually really love it, but now I know why, or like what kind of like lane I like.
Yeah.
People are they want to dumb things down and simplify it so that it's easier to understand, make things black and white. And it's like, okay, wine is like this. And to understand all of this knowledge, you have to go through how many years of classes. So it's like, okay, I remember that name Chardonnay. I don't like it. And it just to keep things simple so that when you're at the restaurant, you're like, okay, I'll have a Pinot Noir versus a whatever. It's just trying to make it simple. But I'm like, actually, you might.
As all that goes into it.
Like
And I think Chardonnay is the best example because it is the most versatile grape. What I tell people about Chardonnay, for starters, and I say Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio, is like, all right, you don't like Chardonnay, you don't like Pinot Grigio. Where did you have it last? We go, oh, well, I was at a wedding and I got the Chardonnay. I'm like, yeah, banquet wine in general is gross. You're not supposed to like it.
Yeah.
So in white wines, like cheap white wines are harder to mask flaws than red wines. So when you're getting a banquet Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio, it's gonna be gross.
Yeah.
Like I refuse to drink them. It's not because I'm a snob. It's because they're just disgusting. They don't taste like Chardonnay. They don't taste like Pinot Grigio. But if that's your impression and you tried Chardonnay once, and you never try it again, you're missing out on so many great wines. Chardonnay depends on the region, depends on the year, but even more so the winemaking technique. You can you could oak it, like Rombauer and like Cougar Juice, like oaky Chardonnay. Then you could go unoaked, like a Chablis in France.
Yeah.
That tastes more lean than a Sauvignon Blanc. And then like you look at like people, I love the people who hate Chardonnay, but they love Champagne. Chardonnay is the second most grown grape in Champagne. If you're drinking a Blanc de Blanc Champagne, it's 100% Chardonnay. It's like people just need to like give Chardonnay another shot. Like at my events, if I'm pouring a Chardonnay, I do not talk about the wine until they've tried it and I get their reaction.
That's smart. Because they're like, what do you think
if
of
I
this?
say it's a Chardonnay, no matter what, some people are just not going to like it.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, this is really good. Is this a so-and-so? I was like, no, this is a
Chardonnay, yeah.
I knew you'd like it. So, Napa Valley, is it really all it's cracked up to be?
Short answer, yes. I think especially with the tourism aspect, it is the best place you can go in the United States for a wine experience.
Okay.
Where I think it gets overrated is pricing. And a lot of that is real estate. So like to buy a vineyard, to buy land in Napa, when Napa first took off in the mid 70s to now, land has gotten astronomical.
Oh, sure.
Land prices.
Yeah.
So you can't, unless you're like a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm going to retire. I have a ton of money. I'm going to retire, open a vineyard. They're not doing it to make money. They've made their money. It's a hobby for them. It's hard.
One of my
trying to
favorite
make
wines
money-
come from people that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do it. And it's fine. If you're just trying to break even or make a little bit of money, fine. If you're trying to build an enterprise, Napa's not where you're going.
Yeah.
Because the land's so expensive. When you're getting some of these bottles at something like $200 a bottle that are not that high quality, they're just, that might be their break even point. Is that, okay, I need to pay for the land. I mortgage this vineyard. I need to sell my wine for $200 a bottle just to break even.
Yeah.
So I think that's where like, and you'll get some of the older producers, smaller older producers that their land's been paid off since the 70s, 80s. You could get like a baller Napa Cab for $45 because they don't have all the other expenses that go into some of the other wines.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think the wine's still great. Like, I think Napa wine is phenomenal. What I do think is for wine quality, I think Paso Robles, California, give it 10 to 15 years once they get some more capital in there, some more seasoned winemakers. You have a lot of winemakers from France growing Grenache and Syrah in Paso, and they're awesome.
So I have a couple of stories. I'm going to try and remember them all because everything you hit on is just like bringing back so many memories. Paso Robles. Number one, I never knew how to actually say it.
Yep, it's Robles, not Robles.
So me and my buddies, we used to have this tradition when we were doing real estate investing where anytime we sold or bought a property, we'd go out to a steak dinner. And we went out to, I believe it was Kinsey Chop House this one time, and we got a recommendation from the Somm there for Austin Hope, which I believe is from
they're the
region.
biggest name in Paso.
Yeah, and at risk of like picking like a big name wine, we really enjoyed it to the point where we actually bought a couple cases and sat on it for a while. And I think this was like the 2016, 2017 timeframe. So we really hit the jackpot with like a very accessibly priced, good tasting wine. And that's what kind of opened up my eyes to different regions outside of Napa. I was like, oh, I read in the bottle. I'm like, oh, this is probably from, oh, wait, where's that? And it's like way south from Napa, correct?
Yep.
So
not way south, but I mean, significantly south. Yeah.
Definitely fell in love with wines from that region, from that experience. And second story is my first time to Napa. I took my mom out there for her 50th birthday, and we had a great time. We went to two wineries. I believe it was Beringer and Stag's Leap. What I didn't know when I got out there was there's like two Stag's Leaps. One of them's like S apostrophe and the other one's like apostrophe S.
Yeah.
Kind of, and they're like close to each other, right?
Yeah, and I don't sell a lot of California wine, so I've been told this at least once a year, and I can never remember which is which.
Yeah.
But one is the region within Napa, the sub-region, and then one is a producer.
Okay.
but I believe the producer is not in the region. And don't quote me on that, but that's my understanding of it.
Very confusing. They had a beautiful landscape. I did like the tour at Behringer a little bit better. They had like the old Germanic mansion and some cool history and some really flavorful like deep cabs that I love revisiting every once in a while. Do you have any favorite brands as a consumer out in Napa that you like to drink on occasion?
In Napa, I like Caldwell a lot. Usually out of my price range for what I'm going for, but worth it when you are willing to spend. There's a smaller winery called 1111.
Okay.
That was actually in the portfolio I sold in San Diego when I worked for a distributor. And their Syrah, it was their 2018 Syrah, is one of those wines. I think it was like $80 a bottle at the time, which at the time for me, I was like way more than I should have ever spent on wine.
Yeah.
But that wine like turned me into like a believer in spending money on wine.
I love that. Yeah, it's something interesting with wine is that I think half of it is the experience that you have with that certain brand. So, for example, I think half of the reason we really loved Austin Hope was I was with good friends of mine for 10 years. We were celebrating. It was a great environment. The meal we had was fantastic. And then it just kind of like paired well with like all of the five senses. And you're just like, I'm in love with this wine.
Yeah.
But if you're like drinking it out of a solo cup in like a frat party, you're probably going to have a different experience with the same product, right?
100%. And like, so like when I was starting my own company and I started Jetsetter just doing events, I'm like, I want to do something in wine, don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, I'm in the events industry. I'll just start doing private events, figure that out.
Yeah.
But part of the reason I use the name Jetsetter is the idea of where's your glass taking you. Like if it's a hot day, you're on a patio drinking a Sauvignon Blanc or Rosé, where's that transporting you? Like where do you feel you are? Like for me, it's like I'll go sit on my balcony in the West Loop, and I'm like, I don't want to be there looking at traffic and listening to motorcycles drive by. But where is this wine bringing me?
Yeah.
If it is a Barbaresco from Italy, is it bringing me there? Is it bringing me somewhere else? And that's where I kept the name Jetsetter, was for that idea of like, if you're not having a great experience in the moment with your wine, where is it taking you?
Yeah, because I'm so in tune with like the Italian culture and stuff, one of my favorite places to drink wine is summertime at this restaurant called Via Carducci. I think it's on Division.
Okay.
Italian joint, old school. And I had this tradition where I'd go on Tuesdays with one of my friends and we'd order a pizza, we'd order a bottle of bubbly, and then a second bottle of probably bubbly rosé or something. And great conversations, summertime shy, you're on a patio, right? You're just eating pizza. And they used to have this like legit Italian band on the patio singing like ballads and stuff. And I think it was pre-COVID. Now they're not around. But sitting there on that patio, you're just feeling like you're in like the European lifestyle. It's like, we'll have another round or we'll have another entree come out, and you're just like got nowhere to be and good company. And it's really just a magical experience. So when you can have wine in those environments, it elevates it so much more.
For sure.
Where are your favorite like international places to visit when it comes to wine? You mentioned a couple European countries, but
yeah, and I've really only done Italy on my own because I try to go at least once a year, and it's tough to carve out 2 weeks to go over there.
Yeah.
But I was just in Barbaresco, Barolo, so a little bit south of Milan in Italy, so northern Italy. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna find a wine region I like better because one, I picked there because I already like their wine.
Yeah.
But just driving through the hills and it's beautiful and the weather's perfect. Just the ambiance, the people, and the ambiance is hard to beat. But a lot of wine regions are that way.
Sure.
But I think the elevation was a lot higher than I thought. So the hill, like once you get up to like the vineyards, like up high, like the views are gorgeous.
Yeah, you can see.
And
for
then
miles.
there's castles everywhere, and like it was really cool. But what surprised me though is the speed limit was 90 kilometers an hour, which is like 60 miles
like
an hour.
on the mountains.
Yeah, like you're going like one, it's like a lane and a half.
Yeah.
So if you have two, someone's in the in the grass, and then you're going down a hill and then like a sharp turn uphill in like I rented like a fast car because when I rent cars, I always do something nicer than I have. I'm like, I have a faster car than everybody who is like passing me on these farm roads. I'm like, what is going on?
It must be the liquid courage, because
It could be. When I'm trying to take in the view, so I'm also driving a little bit slower than I would have anyway.
I can only imagine how many kph I'd be driving after a couple glasses of Italian wine. I mean, we'll have to go try it out.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are probably pros at it and do it.
Yeah,
daily.
We do not recommend drinking and driving on this podcast. Just a disclaimer.
Yep.
Get a driver.
Yeah, and like for all the listeners out there, like when you're going to wine regions, hire a driver.
Yeah.
I rented a car this time just because I had like actual meetings I had to be at, and it was just easier to coordinate. But I looked at the price of my rental car, and if I did a daily driver, it would have been the exact same.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Like always, just do the driver.
We actually did a private driver. We did a guy's trip out to Napa, and he actually recommended one of those family vineyards to us that became one of our favorites. I believe it's Boyd Family Winery.
Okay.
The cool thing there was like you felt like you were just at a friend's home. We went to the back porch. The dogs are sniffing around and like playing in the backyard and come for pets and whatever. And it was two like retired CMOs that were like, F corporate, I'm going to go drink wine and I'm going to go make some really cool stuff and just build some relationships. And it was like 6 of us on the patio drinking some really good wine. Could relate to their story because we were like all trying to figure out our corporate.
We hate our jobs too. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should start a winery. But it was like very accessibly priced, and it's easier to support like a family business than it is like a big corporation sometimes, because you're like, okay, like I relate to this story. I had such a great time. You guys aren't gouging me. I'm happy to support you, and it's a great product.
Yeah.
It's probably it's like the hidden gems of Napa. Yeah, the actual people.
Like some of the big brands, like they're not growing their own grapes. They're buying from all over. They're mass produced. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, they have their head winemaker, but it's not necessarily like artisanal and personal like a lot of these small producers. And I think that's the romance of wine, is this story behind it.
Yeah, 100%. Whether you're just drinking it with some friends at like a party, or you're on a date, or you're celebrating something, wine, just like I'm in jewelry, it is a very storied product. And if you start digging into it and you realize like how much time and energy has gone into just growing the raw materials and the labor that goes into making this and distributing and the education, I mean, there's so much energy put into this product so that you can have one glass of a phenomenal experience. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. And that's what I try to do with my wine club is, so I do Chicago only, $75 for 2 bottles. You get one red, one not red. So it could be white, sparkling, rosé.
Yeah.
And then I'm not at the podcast level yet, but I do little videos of me tasting through all the wines. Because there's so many wine clubs out there, which go like, I'm a member of, let's say Jewel Osco. They don't have a wine club, but let's say they did. It's like, it's a few bottles a month. Like, I don't know, say it's $50. You get 2 or 3 bottles. You pick it up, whatever. That's it. There's no story behind it. They're not telling you anything about the wine.
Yeah.
It's literally just you're blindly shopping, and they're just telling you what wines to get.
It's transactional, whereas with you, it's more
like
of an
I still pick the wines. They're still going in blind, but they know that I'm picking it, not some random person at Jewel Osco. But then I go through and teach them about the producer, because all of our producers are tiny.
Yeah.
It's like we know their stories. We could email them or call them, and within a day's notice, depending on the time change, and what country they're in. But like that's what I'm trying to do, is like get out of that cookie cutter. Oh, I just have a wine club, or restaurants have a wine club. It's like, all right, yeah, I'll do a pickup party. You're still picking it up. I deliver for now. Once it gets big, I'm going to stop doing that. Because it's just me.
So get in now.
Get in now, because after a few more people, I'm not delivering.
Yeah.
Grandfathering everyone in, that's already there. But for new people, I got to cut it down. But it's like more of an experience.
Yeah.
Make it minimally educational to where there's a few takeaways every month that you can build your wine knowledge without having to go take classes.
For sure.
And trying new wines. Like all the wines I bring are most of the time wines that they've never had, like grapes that people have never had before.
Yeah. And the wines that you're choosing are holding a candle to the store-bought Napa cabs and like the generic stuff that you can buy at the store?
Yeah, so I would say like the store-bought Napa cabs that are in like the $50, $60 range, mine are on par. Because at $75, like it's not supposed to be a super high-end wine club.
Yeah.
But for grocery store Napa cab, mine's cheaper and 10 times better.
So
They're
getting
my
a lot of
Napa
value.
cabs, I can't put into the wine club. They're just too expensive.
Yeah.
But you're getting phenomenal value for more like, at least for me and probably you and people who drink good wine.
Yeah.
These would be like a Thursday night bottle.
Sure.
Like they're not. I mean the whites, because whites are always going to be cheaper than reds. For in general, but and for high quality whites. Like my whites are top notch because I could get great whites in that price range.
Yeah.
The reds, like I don't like people who are like, oh, I'm a red wine drinker, but they're only buying $20 bottles at the store. Like you're not a red wine drinker. Like you need to be spending at least $40 a bottle on a bottle of red
Yeah.
to say that you're like a real red wine drinker. Which is where like my reds and the wine clubs start.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
it's-
if you want to become a legitimate red wine drinker, sign
There
up
you
for the
go.
Jetsetter Wine Club. Is this what I'm
Exactly.
hearing?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
We'll get people some street cred out there. You mentioned kind of like the education portion and stuff. Have you, I guess, let me put it this way. Where have you had some like interesting events, like activation events? Do you have any like specific places that pop out to you as like a very unique spot you've done wine tastings
Yeah,
at?
so I did. There's an event company, I guess it would be, called Uncorked. They're in a bunch of cities throughout the U.S. And they did, I think this was 2 years ago, in Chicago at the Museum of Science and Industry.
Oh, cool.
That one was super cool. Business for me, it wasn't a great event, but just the ambiance of being like next to the exhibits, pouring wine.
Yeah.
At night was super fun. I've done the Del Mar racetrack in San Diego.
Very cool.
During a horse race, which was awesome. You kind of have to get over some of the smells because we're right on the track.
Oh, yeah.
That was super cool.
It's like very earthy tones.
Yeah. Very earthy some of the time.
You mentioned you were just at like a car collective or something like
Oh,
that?
yeah. So the Chicago Car Collective, they're like a pretty like secret, I wouldn't say like totally underground.
Yeah.
But car club where you could store your Ferraris, your Porsches, and they have a social membership.
Cool.
You could come hang out. They have a golf simulator. They have racing simulators, like full
Oh, dope.
seats. I didn't get to try that because I was pouring wine.
Yeah.
But that was super cool. And like that was just an open house. I was connected with the owner and we're like, all right, what can we make work with wine? Just go, yeah, just come over. We have an open house. We have a few other local vendors, some beverage, some art, some other things.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And nice and local too. Like
Oh, for
small
sure.
group, intimate.
Yeah. Do you have any places that you want to do a future event at?
God, I've got a ton.
Let's get some exposure. We'll tag the
Yeah, I
companies
do
in
want
here.
like more like beaches. Like in Michigan, some of like the Southwest Michigan beaches.
Yeah.
San Diego, I've done some on the beaches. But it just gets hard because like it's sandy. Like it's
Yeah.
logistically, it's not that easy.
For sure.
Chicago though, I definitely want to do like somewhere up high. Like whether it's like the Sears Tower, Hancock,
Yeah.
Aeon Center, like whatever, like something
View,
high, like
views and a
looking
glass
down.
of wine. I mean, get out of here.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think the highest. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't
Well,
done anything like up high.
We'll have to do some prospecting to some of the rooftop bar people for maybe next summer.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that would be dope. So 10 years from now, Jetsetter Wine Club is maxed out. People are on a wait list. People are dying to do business with you. What do you want people to say when your name comes up? Like, what does Jetsetter Wine Company stand for in like the consumer's eyes?
Yeah. Going back to like what I was saying earlier is when I founded it was where's your glass taking you? And with the wine club being educational, not cookie cutter, I want people to learn about wine and be as passionate about wine as I am.
Yeah.
Because from when I was 21 until, I don't know, 28, I was buying $3 chuck at Trader Joe's. I was buying the $3 bottle at Whole Foods because I thought it was healthier, and maybe it is, or maybe it was. But when I started learning about wine and my wine drinking experience totally changed.
Yeah.
And that feeling is still vivid in my memory. Like I want everybody who drinks wine to feel that.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
I think that's where I'm doing it minimally educational, because a lot of people are just turned off by wine because there's so much information thrown at you.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm never gonna remember any of this. Like, why even try to remember one?
You gotta do
thing?
small tidbits, especially in today's day and age of TikToks and attention spans.
Exactly.
It's like, all right, this is the name of the grape you like, Cab. Okay, go on your merry way.
Yeah, because that's what I usually try and do is focus on the grape and the region.
Yeah.
So at least you're remembering one of those two things. So next time you have a Cab or a Syrah, you're like, okay, well, I had one from California that I liked. Maybe I'll just do that again. Or I'll try it from France and see if that's any different. But just kind of making like a game out of drinking wine instead of just like going to the store and picking a bottle. Or picking the bottle that you get every single time you go to the store.
For sure. Very experiential, which I love.
Yeah. And like for me, like the wine club, like all of our producers are tiny. I can't grow that big. Like they don't make enough wine for me to be as big as some of like the biggest wine clubs.
Which is great
in the country.
because it lends a little exclusivity and a community to your business where you're not just going to be a number or like an order form. Like you're actually like part of this thing where you're an exclusive purchaser of this small batch wine that tastes really good, and you're among people that also appreciate what they're buying.
Yep.
So Jetsetter, I think, has a great place in the wine culture here, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next few years. Hopefully the Scorpion Nest and you can do some more combined events, because a lot of our cigar smokers are definitely wine drinkers, so perfect opportunity to do a collab.
Awesome. I know we've tried a few times. We'll get one to land.
Yeah. Well,
soon.
certainly. I mean, it's getting colder out soon, so people are going to have to
wine
do
season, baby.
a lot of drinking wine. So you're on the docket. A couple questions before we wrap here. One, who would you love to see as a future guest on the Scorpion Nest podcast?
Yeah. So what's your like target for this? Just kind of, I know you were talking about like food and wine, getting more into that.
Yeah, so the general like theme of people are like restaurateurs, entrepreneurs, people that are in niches that aren't really accessible to a lot of folks. So like, for example, I've got a Michelin star chef on the docket for next year. Wine Jesus from Pops for Champagne, I would really love for him to come on. So I don't know if you have any like Chicago influencers or whatnot you'd love to see on the show.
Yeah. I'm going to go with John's Food and Wine's wine director, Owen Huzar. He would be awesome because I love talking to him about wine.
Yeah.
Super interesting story. Absolutely killing it with their wine list in the restaurant. He would be a good one. Like,
Okay.
I always joke around like, he's a real Som.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Som, but like, Owen's a real Som.
Okay. Then we'll definitely have to get him on the pod.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for the audience that wants to follow you more, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I do almost everything via Instagram for now. Jetsetter Wine Club.
Okay.
All one word. Jetsetter Wine Club. So that's where everything is. It's where I post events. That's where I post all of my tasting notes for club members. It's open to non-club members, but you're not drinking the wine.
Right.
So sign up so you can drink the wine, watch the videos. And that's where all of my public and I don't promote my private events on there, but to get in touch to book your own private event.
And then to join the club, is it on your website or through Instagram as well?
Through Instagram as well.
Okay, cool. Well, we could have talked for probably 4 hours on wine.
I'm kind of like 5 minutes.
Upset that the episode's over, but super excited to do some events with you and see your company grow. And I appreciate you coming on the show.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.